And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday with new and used vehicles of all different shapes and sizes. We appreciate them for being our exclusive studio partner. And as we're here on Wake Up Call, appreciate your patience. Those of you that have watched and listened over the last few days know that I unfortunately around this time of year sometimes get a sinus infection, so I've been navigating through that since I need the pipes for the show, and of course happy to be here with you inside of monpazpopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Happy to be here with so many wonderful guests this morning, starting off with Scottie Rodgers, who will be joining me momentarily from the great state of Texas in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic as their VP of Communications. Coming off the game, recapping the festivities as well as the game itself between Ohio State and Texas, and his takeaways of this current college football playoff format. And then in hour number 2, we'll have a double dose of the Bearcat Breakroom with our student athletes in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, featuring Jadyn Weltz, who is an award winner recently here of Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball, and will be joined by Carter Baer of the wrestling team, which has had success in this 2024-25 season very recently. And of course, we'll round out the show as we always do on a Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's, where we were last night celebrating Liverpool boys indoor track with their student athletes as well as their coaching staff. So with that being said, without further ado, picture in picture with Scottie Rodgers here of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Scottie and I were just in the same building just a couple days ago, and we got to spend some time with each other, which I always appreciate. Scottie's a good friend and a very amazing person in this wonderful world of athletics that I feel very blessed that God crossed our paths. So with that being said, Scottie, how we doing?
We're doing great, Dan. How's everything? Hopefully you recover from that sinus infection sooner rather than later.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I appreciate that. Still recovering, still getting better. You know, I think it helps. I think what needed to happen is I needed to shoot a little more pool, maybe some more pinball, some skee ball, different things that we had in that media room festivities. But I want to jump right into your takeaways, Scottie, and I hope you're doing well. And just what you've taken away from now that you've gotten to look back on the game, look back on everything for the media, for the players, for the teams and the fans, just what your takeaways were now that you can look back hindsight 2020 on the festivities of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic.
I mean, what a classic. I mean, our hashtag is like no other, and this game was truly like no other. With the way the format is this year, us learning about our teams on January 1st, them arriving on January 8th. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot to process in a much shorter period of time. A lot going on. A lot of newness to what we were doing, while we're also trying to weave in and sprinkle in the things that makes us great as the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. It was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. All challenges don't have to be negative, and it was a fun challenge, and we navigated our way through it. Pivot was a big word that we used throughout the course of the time. We had to do a lot of pivoting to understand that the media interest in this game was massive, and we went from one headquarters hotel to three different hotels where we had to house media and members of our media operations staff, and the teams coming in and how they traveled differently. You know, for the semifinal round versus maybe the quarterfinal round. There's a lot going on. Life is a lot different on January 9th and 8th, 9th, and 10th than maybe it is on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. As far as people being off work, being school, kids being out of school, etc.
Yeah.
So we really had to. This was our first time doing this, obviously. So we learned a lot. But all in all, we can look back on and say we had a great game, great atmosphere. A lot of people had a great time. If you were in the building as you were, it was electric. It was loud. It showcased everything that was good about college football.
Yeah, when you look back on it, I took a picture from where I was sitting in the press box, and fantastic seat, by the way, and just an awesome place to be. I know you came over to where I was in the press box, and I can't thank you enough. Front row right there, Ohio State, their end zone, and then straight up from that looking at the arena, looking at AT&T Stadium, I took a picture of both sides, and obviously there was people scattered throughout. But I took a picture where one side was heavily burnt orange and the other side was heavily red, and I said it kind of looks like Congress here. I mean, it literally looked like both sides showed up in a tremendous way. I know people anticipated the Longhorn fans would be out there with their, hook 'em signs up because Austin's not too far away. But Ohio State fans showed up just as well. And I'd love to get your thoughts on that. And if you had any final numbers of the split, because it felt like it was pretty even.
Yeah, I don't think there's any official number on the split. The eyeball test, and I talked to several of my friends in the media about this. Many of them agreed with the 55-45-ish type split, with a little bit of an advantage to Texas, but not by much.
Yeah.
You got to remember, as most people do know, Ohio State was in our game last year against Missouri, so many of their fans knew what it meant to come to Arlington, to come to North Texas, to be a part of our game. So many of them probably made the trip for a second time, and they probably convinced a lot of their friends to come this time around, maybe thinking they probably had a little bit better chance coming into it than maybe they did last year. Uh, so I think when you really think about that, obviously Texas, Austin is not that far away.
Yeah.
Dallas is a major hub for Texas fans. Texas fans, both of these fan bases and alumni bases are huge, not only within Texas, obviously the game is in their region, but Ohio State's got fans all
Yeah.
over the country. Texas has fans all over the country. Obviously, the ease of them to get here, and yes, we were dealing with the prospect of bad weather, and we had some of it, but it really did not turn out as bad as we thought it was going to be. When you saw some of the forecasts and some of the people talking on Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
it looked like it was going to be a lot worse on Friday than it actually turned out to be, which allowed everybody to get there safe, allowed everybody to have a great time, and then allow people to return home safe. And I thought that was really important. I know it might have affected some folks, and I know we had several media folks that were not able to make it, unfortunately, because their flights got canceled, and that's just the world, and that's just how Mother Nature works. As we said all week, Mother Nature is undefeated, and no matter what sport you're dealing with. So we
Yeah.
we just kind of dealt with that and pivoted as best we could and made sure that we put on the best show as possible. I mean, from what we had the night before with Cotton Bowl Live to pregame with the Goodyear Hull Up Fan Fest with the performance by DJ Diesel, the drone show after the game, the game itself, which is what obviously everybody's there for. It was just truly a great experience. We think, a lot of lessons learned, a
Yeah.
lot of things that we can improve upon for next year, but all in all, we're very positive and very happy about what happened this year.
And you talked about DJ Diesel, which is obviously Shaquille O'Neal. How did that happen? How did you guys pull off getting Diesel out there to go out there and do his thing in the music world?
Well, I gotta give a shout out to one of my coworkers, Krista Amelia, who works on our media operations staff. She has a relationship with one of his people on his management side, and it was an idea that came up because we saw him perform. You tie into the fact that he has homes in the North Texas area.
Yeah.
It just seems like it would seem like a natural fit. Especially when you talk about somebody of that magnitude who lives in North Texas now, and what he's done. And when myself and our chief marketing officer, Michael Conradi, were out in Las Vegas for the media days that were out there, Big Ten, I'm sorry, Big 12, Pac 12, and Mountain West. He happened to be performing one of the nights, and we stayed up really late and went and saw him perform just to get a vibe of how his performance went. Now, granted, that crowd was a much different crowd than that would be at our game,
Yeah.
but we got a sense of it, and then we came back and kind of reported back, and Krista and really used her relationship with folks on her management team and really managed that process with the help obviously of our office to make sure that we pull together the things to pull together, and it really worked out great. He came into the game. He was on the sideline. I think he spent some time with the Jones family during the game. I was not intimately involved, so I don't know exactly all of his movements, but that's what I understand. And sounds like to me he had a great experience, and who knows, he may be back next year.
And the Longhorn steer, we got to see him every time that he went up on the screen. The fans lost their minds. Bring me into that. The mechanics of making sure that this animal can enjoy the game as well.
Well, we had two things going on, in addition to, the prospect of bringing in Bevo, which had been in our building before, so it wasn't a foreign concept.
Yeah.
We also had the Rangerettes Forever's performance celebrating their 75th time performing in our game, and the nearly 800 Rangerettes, the alumni, which they call Forever's, performing with the current class, a line of Rangerettes at the same time, pregame. So there was a lot going on to make sure that we could, the movements of nearly 800 people and the space that takes up Bevo with his trailer and all the things that are happening there. So,
Yeah.
beauty of AT&T Stadium is that we have space, and when we don't have other things like a Cowboys game to plan for, not that we all wish the Cowboys were still playing, but the good thing is in the schedule, even if they were, there was some space because many times what people don't understand is that if we play a game on the Friday and the Cowboys play on Sunday, many times there's TV trucks in the back for our game and for their game, which takes up a lot of the back of house space
Yeah.
to do things. So we didn't have that this time around and was able to maneuver everything that was going on. Obviously, this Rangerettes performance was a unique thing. We never done it before. You talking about 800 people on the field with bands and all the other things that goes along with the national anthem and the teams and the warm up.
Yeah.
So it was able to really get worked out where we could stage Bevo in the right place until we could bring him out on the field. And as you said, when he came out on the field and was more visible and was shown on the video board, the Longhorn fans went crazy.
Yeah, the mechanics of, like you said, doing all this stuff that people don't think about in the background, Rangerettes, 800 people, dealing with the bands, making sure that you have everything that you need here, and then Bevo finding a way where obviously he's safe and everybody's comfortable and he's in a good place and whatnot. Just putting that all together, and that was one of the big things, is not just the game I wanted to talk with you about, is the mechanics of making sure that all this is working, because fans that come in, they're like, oh, okay, you just bring the steer in and you put them over there, and then you tell the Rangerettes they're going to warm up over there, and it's easy. But anyone who's put on a show of any magnitude, small or large, and this was massive, every intricate piece has intricate pieces within it, and then within those intricate pieces, if something goes wrong, you have to be able to adjust. So, what can you say to kind of looking at the big picture now that the game is over? Of, to us, to the fans, to the media, things went off without a hitch. Bevo's doing his thing, the Rangerettes are doing their thing, the bands looked incredible on the field, the different, obviously, like shapes and logos and things that they made were really cool. And to me, the game itself looked great, and the aesthetically pleasing, obviously AT&T Stadium is AT&T Stadium. Those video boards are magnificent. So to us, it went off without a hitch. To you and all the pieces that you and your team were moving around, bring me into the background and let us behind the scenes a little bit of how it looked to you when all was said and done.
You can use the duck analogy. The duck seems calm on top of the water, but below the water, the legs are just flailing and the fins are moving. It's a little bit of that. Look, we've run a lot of college football games. We've run a lot of Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classics.
Yeah.
So at the core, the essence of what we needed to make sure to execute, we knew quite well. We knew about making sure the teams are comfortable when they're in town. We also knew that this was more of a business trip. We
Yeah.
also knew that it was going to be a shorter trip. So there were some things we had to adjust under this new format to make sure that we were keeping the sensitivities of the team and the team movements and the things that they were doing in mind. We also knew the sensitivities of the fans. Again, the time of year, the game being on Friday, being later into January where life is a little bit different. So we had to think about a lot of things, but then we had things that just came up. The weather piece. I mean, we spent the better part of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday talking to media, talking to uh, uh, local authorities, National Weather Service, doing interviews, trying to inform people, putting out statements. Those types of things were happening and things that we were doing that was not in the plan for game week. That was not in our plan to be doing all that. So that had to take priority and took away from some of the down the stretch planning
Yeah.
that you had to do. Well, that planning still had to happen, just had to happen at a different time. And many times a lot later at night when people don't think you're working on, running a college football game. So you really have to think about all those things that's going on because it was important for us to communicate to everybody because, there was a lot of concerns. You're talking about fan bases, Texas or Ohio State. They're either driving, they're either coming by plane. So, people they got hotel rooms at stake, they got other things, travel at stake. So we wanted to make sure that we could communicate in the best possible way so that not to alarm people, not to get folks, but give real information about what's going on. And as you saw, the weather forecast that we thought that came out on Monday was a lot different than what happened on Friday.
Yeah.
And we knew that we had to take time to communicate, but yet by the same token, don't raise the alarm too much. And also don't share too much. Because one of the things, we talked about, in our last conversation, it was important for us to let people know that we were doing something without letting people know what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because the important part of that execution is to not to reveal everything that's going on. Because again, also you got to think about the tragic events that happened in New Orleans that affected the Sugar Bowl, you know, and no matter beyond that, for a large scale event like this, security is heightened. Security is a top priority. You add that on top of that. You add weather on top of that. You add these two teams who bring the fan bases that they have and the passion that they have. You add all that together. And oh, by the way, from the day we knew they were our team to the day the game played was 9 days.
Yeah.
So we had to, there was a lot had to happen. Now, granted, we obviously knew what side of the bracket, we knew what teams could potentially be in our game, and there was a lot of planning that took place before January 1st. But it became real on January 1st who's coming. And from that moment until kickoff, our job was to process everything that we needed to process from a planning standpoint and execute the plan that we have, at least the baseline plan that we have, tweak it where we needed to tweak it. And in many places, Dan, we had to, like I said, pour some dirt in the ground and put our finger in there and draw the play up because we were drawing the plays up in the dirt while it was going on because that just was part of it. And that's lessons learned. And I know when we sit down in the spring and summer and talk to our other CFP Bowl brethren and the quarterfinals share their experience with us and the semifinal sites like us share our experience, we're going to take stuff from them because next year we're a quarterfinal. We're going to have a lot of lessons to learn that we're going to be able to take away from our semifinal experience. But
Yeah.
we're going to be a quarterfinal. Going to be a different experience. So we're going to be able to learn from them and looking forward to sitting down and having those conversations. I mean, we're already sending messages back and forth and sharing things and some cursory things, some initial things, and there'll be a lot more conversation that'll happen in the spring and summer.
Yeah, yeah, here with Scottie Rodgers, and I appreciate that background of it. VP of Communications for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and like you said, you're going to be a quarterfinal next year. So I've been through each of these rounds. The first round was December 20th, 21st. I was out in Happy Valley for SMU at Penn State, and then we saw that break for Christmas, which I mean, obviously, like you said, you and your team you don't, I mean, you celebrate the holidays, but you also are doing the work and different, the bowls are continuing to go. Then we saw December 31st, January 1st for the next round. And then we saw January 9th and 10th, which is a little bit shorter of a window. And then January 20th gives back to that like 10-day period to try and get ready for the national championship. So everybody's going to learn things. For you personally, with all the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classics that you've run, for all the experience that you've had with this new format of the college football playoff being a semi this time around, I know you said there's a lot to learn and next year you're going to be a quarterfinal, but what have you taken away personally in the way that you work, the way that you go about things, the way that you lead your team, knowing that this year was different and that honestly every year is going to be different because you're going to be bouncing from semifinal to quarterfinal. And so you're going to be going back and forth every couple of years between these two rounds. So, what did you take away personally for Scottie Rodgers that you can implement and say, okay, we're not just going to be adjusting this year? Because I mean, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, you had your date, and then you'd figure out your teams and you'd prepare. Now, no matter where you are, quarterfinal, semifinal, you're going to be waiting for your team and you're going to have preparation that's going to be at different times in the year depending on what round you're in.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is efficiency in our process and efficiency in our communication. A lot of people, whether it's fans, media, teams, are trying to process a lot of information in a short period of time. And I think we got to do the best job that we can to provide the information in the most efficient way. Use less words to get to the same information. Because, for me, looking at it from the media side this year, the biggest challenge was, it was difficult to pull together information to get to the media right after the game because the teams had so much going on right after the game on the first into the second. And it took till the third till we probably had some solid information that we could share out. People were asking, well, what's the media schedule? What's the schedule? What's the schedule? What are you doing? Well, it took a minute for them to recover from that game,
Yeah.
get back, start thinking about, not start thinking about, but really drill into what they want to do and what the schedule needed to look like for for them for the next round. So I think for us is that, being able to decipher that information very quickly and turn it around the best as we possibly can, but also at the same time um, be able to share that information as quickly as we can and as accurate as we can. Because I'm one of those types. I really try to, when I'm communicating with the media, because they're getting so much coming at them, I'd rather wait a little bit longer and have better information than sending something out and it's partially right and having to send it twice, a third time with corrections or additional information because many people doesn't read that second version or that third version.
Yeah.
You got to give it to them. You need to give it to them once, as accurate as possible and as complete as possible. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. But I think that's where I see it from my perspective, and some lessons learned, and we definitely tried to pare down some information where we may have been a little bit more verbose in the past, and we tried to pare that down a little bit. Use some of the tools at our disposal for the media, like through our media app that we have through Ticket Manager, and really push out some notifications to the media so that there were some things that came up so that they know they can get it at the palm of their hand
Yeah.
and on the go. And maybe it's not so necessarily a cumbersome document that they need to read. And, you know, um, media do a lot of writing. Sometimes they don't do as much reading. So we have to make sure that the information that is really important we put right in front of them so that they can process it and know what's going on and know what's happening. And because we were pivoting, sometimes we were able to get it out faster
Yeah.
and more efficiently, and sometimes we didn't do it as well. So, again, those are lessons learned from this time around, and we'll be able to easily make those adjustments going forward to continue to make our operations the best that it can be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and listen, I've been a part of a lot of different bowls. The amount of information that you put out, the consistency. I mean, waking up in the morning, I got 4 or 5 emails from the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and all the things that you did, the information that was sent. You're the VP of Communications. I know you're going to give credit to your team as well, and I am too. But the communications, there was so much there. Thank you for that. Thank you for being effective with that. Thank you for giving. I'd rather have more than I need than not have enough. So I can definitely say thank you, and I appreciate that, Scottie, and your work and your team's work as always. And we're hearing from people that are watching and listening right now that they feel like y'all put on a good show. So before we get out of here, most important question, because I know you got to jump. How was your birthday?
Yeah, my birthday was game day, so and Michael Conradi on our staff, his birthday was the day before. Dwayne Lewis, who helps us out and he works at UT Arlington, his birthday was the day after the game. It was a unique birthday. I will definitely say that. The busiest day of your work year is your birthday.
Yeah.
It was nice to get the birthday wishes. It was nice to be around. I guess I had 80-ish thousand people around for my birthday party, so that's not too bad. And but seriously, it was great. I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. And last week, as you know, was a unique week, not only for the game but some things that came out related to my professional career.
Yeah.
So that was you weave that into everything that happened. It was definitely one of the most unique weeks in my life. And I'm just glad that I was able to have a fun day, work really hard, be able to see some friends, some coworkers, colleagues, and then at the end of the day, maybe it was January 11th by the time this happened. I did able to have the blow out a candle and have a little birthday cake, and I'm thankful for that.
And the note really quick here I want to make is the Hall of Fame class of 2025 for college sports communicators. You from the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Scottie, part of this Hall of Fame group that we saw 6 people get inducted here for the class of 2025. Just what that's meant to you, because like you said, your birthday, busiest day of your work year was your birthday, but then also amidst all of this, we got your College Sports Communicators Hall of Fame, and a congratulations and well deserved and well earned for somebody who, in my opinion, does things the right way and truly cares about people. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. And I have to be remiss not to brag, but also getting the Mary Jo Haverback Trailblazer Award, and that was announced last week too. So
Yeah.
came out on Monday and Wednesday respectively, and in the midst of all of that, so I was not dealing with, but I was blessed to have people reaching out with congratulations. One text would be a congratulations, and one text would be like, "Are you playing this game on Friday?" So the next text would be like, "Is Bevo gonna be there?" And the next text would be like, "Congratulations." And then the next text might be "Happy birthday." The next text, "Are you really playing this game?" So it was it got a little nutty there. But to be totally honest with you, as I sit here right now, I really haven't been able to overly process all of that with everything that was happening last week. All I can say right now is I'm beyond blessed. This is my 30th year working in college athletics full time, and in addition to 3 years of undergrad at my alma mater, University of Alabama, I can't really put it all in words. I'm gonna need a little time to reflect on that. Our ceremony will be in June in Orlando at CSC Unite, which is the annual convention for college sports communicators, which is a part of the NACTA convention. And hopefully by then I'll be able to put this in words. I really don't know because I won't get into this now, but there's a lot of aspects to those honors that when you dig into some of the numbers related to it makes it more impactful to me than than I can verbalize right now, and I need to take some time. But between now and then, the biggest thing is that I'm gonna keep working. Just because somebody put me in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean I get my job stops. It probably gets a little bit harder in some ways, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep doing the job. I got a lot of years left in this old tank, and but I am gonna do my part to make sure I celebrate this with family and friends, and many people who affected my life. I got to say, I got one phone call and one email during this time. I got a phone call from my first boss post college was Roy Kramer. Roy Kramer is 95 years old, and he picked up his cell phone and called me to congratulate me.
Yeah.
I if that doesn't tell you who that man is, I don't know. And I started there as an intern, going all the way back to 1995. And David Housel, who was the longtime communications person overseeing communications at Auburn, and then went on to be the longtime AD at Auburn. As an Alabama guy, to have the retired Auburn AD take time to type out a message, and he was somebody I looked up to, still look up to, because he was one of the few at the time who came from the communication side of the house in college athletics and ascended himself to the athletic director position. And not a lot of people had done that over the course of time. So to get messages like that in the midst of all this stuff, it puts life in. I mean, there's many, many other messages that I got, but those two, stand out a little bit, and I just blessed to have people that are kind enough and think enough about me to want to take time to send me a message, especially, you know, Mr. Kramer, who's, you know, 95 years old. I still can't believe that. And, sharp as a whip, and still telling jokes about my time at the SEC and stuff that we did, and little inside stories that if you don't know what it's about, you don't even know. He still rolls them out there, and we still laugh about them just like we did, like it was yesterday.
Well, somebody that has truly earned that, and the Trailblazing Award. Congratulations for that, and for the Hall of Fame for college sports communicators here. I mean, everything that you have. I mean, in the time I've known you, Scottie, we've talked about God, we've talked about faith, we've talked about community, helping others, and most of the time we're not talking about the game at all. And in this conversation, we didn't. We talked about all the things around it. So as much as people love to see what's on the field, it's important to know the people that are behind the scenes doing what they can do to make sure that those games go off without a hitch, and that you're caring about the community and doing so much more. Like you said, you had to care about safety, you had to care about weather and travel and more media coming in and all these different things that have gone on with it. And so the work that you do, the work that your team does, it doesn't go unnoticed. It doesn't go underappreciated. And then after all of that, you have media hospitality. When the game's over, you could have said, okay, we've done everything for you guys all throughout the week. Have a great day. Go to sleep. We'll see you. I get out of there after 10 o'clock at night and until 2 o'clock in the morning Central Time. Here we are at media hospitality with drinks, with snacks, with food, with dessert, with plenty of games to play and places to kind of sit and get to, commune with other people and relax. So the work that you and your team do, it is tremendous. It is extensive, and it just makes somebody feel welcome. And I definitely have felt that. So Trailblazer, I'm not surprised. Hall of Fame, I'm not surprised. I don't think you're done with awards yet, Scottie, but I do want to say a big time thanks. And somebody who walks around the press box on their birthday while they're working in a massive game and greets media and just wants to make sure everybody's okay, their seat's okay, they're having a good time. Truly, I hope you know that not everybody's like you. I wish they were. And I really do appreciate the fact that you care about people. You don't just say you do. And coming up and slapping somebody on the shoulder and saying, "Are you having a good time?" goes a long way. And I want to say thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate those kind words. Look, it's just who I am. It's how I was raised, from my small town, Atmore, Alabama. It was how I was brought up in this business by so many mentors and so many people I looked up to, or took a little bit from the way they do it, and I used all that to kind of build who I am in this business. And you know, we this sports business is serious, but it's not as serious as we sometimes make it. We got to give ourselves. I try to, with levity, try to have some perspective on what we're doing, If you're not having fun doing it, I don't care what you're doing. If you're not having fun doing it, you're not going to do it well. Period. In the story. So I want to make sure that the folks that are at a stressful time, they're having some fun within the work that they're doing, and then we can have that time, like you said, to have some community after the game and sit and fellowship and laugh and joke and analyze and solve all the world's problems and all of the above plus some. And it was just a great time, and I'm glad folks are mostly going to walk away with a great experience. And we're going to get right back to work here sooner rather than later, getting ready for this year's game and start the conversations and figuring out how we can be that. My boss likes to say, Rick Baker, we got to be 1% better, and we want to be 1% better next year. Um, and that's what we're going to strive to be.
That coming from Scottie Rodgers, Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic VP of Communications, as well as a Trailblazing Award winner and the Hall of Fame 2025, getting a good one with a wonderful class coming in. Thank you, Scottie, for the fun, and thanks for keeping us safe. I look forward to talking with you soon.
Take care, Dan.
Take care. That coming once again from Scottie Rodgers here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us around the country and the world on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for being here. And I just really appreciate y'all so very much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And, I want to thank Scottie, truly. I mean, I don't say those words to say those words. Scottie's always been good to me. He's always treated me like I was somebody, and that it might sound strange for people, but when I get treated like I'm somebody, it humbles me. It makes me want to work harder. And it makes me want to truly be, all those morals and values that matter to me that I say I embody. It makes me want to check myself and make sure that I do. When you're around people like Scottie Rodgers, you want to be a better person. When you're around people like Matt Garvey and Gary Stokan, you want to be a better person. When you're around people like I was last night with the Liverpool coaches and student athletes and talking with Nate Howard and Andy Lewis and Greg Hamilton before that, you want to be a better person. And my life has been truly lived. And, I can't believe I'm 39 years old because you put all this work in and you do all these things and you chase these dreams and you kind of look up and you're like, I'm not 21 anymore. I thought I was, but it's just nice. And like Scottie said, there's more left in this old tank. I think people that love what they do and do what they love, and it sounds like Scottie does, and I certainly do. Age is just a number because we're trying to live each day to the best of our ability to do the things that we need to do. And, I'm trying to stop more and enjoy the views and enjoy the sights and smell the roses, so to speak, because I think that's important. We can all learn from each other, and we do learn from each other. And it's just nice to be surrounded by people that care. I think that's a big part. What is the first thing Scottie said today? Hey, Dan, I hope you get better from your sinus infection. It wasn't like, all right, let's talk about Ohio State and Texas and da-da-da. So, I appreciate these moments. I appreciate this time. I appreciate the fact. And the thing is, because of how the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl is, because of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, these bowl games that I've been to, not just those two, obviously it was great to go out to San Diego for the Holiday Bowl. And, you get up for these things. You push yourself to get there. I didn't feel good this week. I went to the doctor. I called the doctor like 6 times. I told him what was going on. I need to get some antibiotics. I need to get better because I needed to get on a plane and I needed to get down here. And people were saying, Dan, what about the weather? What about how you feel? Well, you're tired. You're run down. What about this? What about that? And I was like, I got to be there. I told them I would be there. I want to be there. And it's because of these people, The teams change year in and year out. But when you have the type of upper echelon of character of these people that I've gotten to meet, Scottie included, you want to get out to those games and you want to be there. When you have a Gary Stokin at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, when you have a Matt Garvey, like when you have these people that have a million things going on, but they take the time to say hello, they interact with you, even if it's just for a second. Even when Scottie comes over and says, "How you all doing?" Even when Matt Garvey looks at me when the game got tied late in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Texas and Arizona State, and we both collectively looked at each other and just mouthed the words, "Wow," wow. Like we couldn't believe the game had gotten to where it had gotten to. It's moments like that where you feel like, okay, I'm one of many, but I'm treated as if it's important that I'm here. And even like Scottie said, some people couldn't come because their flights got canceled. He paid attention to all of us, not some of us. And I appreciate that. I have been spoiled. And I met Gary Stokin and Matt Garvey, and then Scottie Rodgers shortly after. And so I've known these guys for a while. And like I said, in the world that I live in when I'm chasing my dreams, time sometimes seems to fly and you don't want it to. I always pray to God every day. And if I don't say it every day, I mean it every day. And I'm sorry to God if I haven't said it every day, but because I know sometimes I haven't. But I always say, God, please help for today, tonight, and so on to be long, fun, I should say informative, let's learn, and go by slowly. And because I don't want time to pass us by fast. I've met some great people. They've taught me a lot of things by sometimes saying nothing. And I just value, I like being a part of these events because I like the people that are there. It's a lot easier when you feel like good people are behind something. And that makes things a lot more fun. When you're covering something that you love and you enjoy and you care about, but the people around it are nasty and they're mean and they're conniving and they're power hungry. It's like you want to be there for the kids, but you don't want to be there for this other side of it. And unfortunately, that exists in the sports and entertainment world and really in everything. And, you hope it goes away. I hope it goes away. But then there's people like Scottie where you are like, hey, no matter what happens in this game, no matter how my flights are, no matter how the hotel is, like this man and his team, the whole team, and I don't want to forget anybody at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, they're going to know what they're doing. And they're going to take care of us. And they're going to be helpful, and they're going to tell us where to go, and they're going to smile, and they're going to say, here's how you get to the press box, and this is what you take. And so I just want to say thank you. I really do want to say thank you, because the team at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, am I surprised that they treated me well? No, this experience is better than the last one. And you always hope you trend up a little bit. So thank you all for doing what you do. I appreciate you. We're going to take a step aside. And in just less than 10 minutes, we're going to start our double dose of the Bearcat Breakroom. We're going to have two specials, and the first one with Jadyn Weltz of the Binghamton women's basketball team, coming up in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University on Wake Up Call inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like know how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I could tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're gonna be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever gonna have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studio. And with that being said, I'm excited to welcome Jadyn Weltz back to the broadcast here. It's been a minute. I told her she'd be back, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to bring her back in as we are picture in picture. And Jadyn and the team coming off of a fantastic weekend for Binghamton University Bearcats women's basketball as they continue to progress forward in this 2024-25 season. And we have another award for Miss Weltz. So Jadyn, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you? Long time no see.
I know, long time no see. It's been a minute. So it sounds like you and I are both enjoying being under the weather a little bit here. So how's everything? You feeling all right?
Yep, doing well. It's getting a little bit colder up here in Binghamton, but other than that, can't complain. How about you?
I'm doing well. It's a good old sinus infection year. So that time of year where we all kind of have to deal with that and deal with travel as well. So congratulations first and foremost. I want to get to this and I want to appreciate David O'Brien for all that he does, and my dog who decided to just jump into this studio and make her appearance. Jadyn, I know that you're a very loving person, so I figured you might as well get to meet the monster. So you can congratulate Jadyn. You want to take over? You want to say something? So, yeah, Lily had to make an appearance in here today. But I do want to congratulate you on the fact that we are celebrating an awesome award for you, America East Player of the Week. And I think, in my opinion, the America East should be looking at Binghamton and Binghamton women's basketball and giving out these awards a little more frequently. But good to see that we have this one here today for the Redshirt Junior, celebrating coming off of this weekend. You averaged 16.5 points, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 3.5 steals in the 2-0 weekend that you had with Binghamton. Just what you can say about receiving the award and this past weekend that obviously was very good for the Binghamton Bearcats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the award is a great honor for sure. First one in my career. But honestly, it's more about the team wins that I'm excited about. To go 2-0 in a weekend is huge for us, and it's building that momentum for the rest of the conference play. So it's super exciting. And then, of course, beating Maine for the first time since I've been on the team is really exciting too. So I'm honored for sure, but I'm more proud of the team and what we were able to accomplish together.
Yeah, and at the time that we're talking, the team has, thanks to that weekend, double-digit victories here in Mary Grimes' first season as the head coach. As we're talking, 11-6 on the season, and like you said, the first win that you've experienced over Maine in your time at Binghamton. Just what you can say about the leadership of Mary Grimes and the coaching staff now that we are almost 20 games into the season.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be a part of, and I think we've been building something quite incredible here over the past couple of months. You know, getting to know each other and building that chemistry on the court since day one. So it's exciting to be a part of, but I know how much growth we still have left to do and how much further we have to go. So it's only exciting to see where we're at, but anticipating where we're going as well.
And like you said, exciting to see where you're at, but anticipating where you're going. Where do you believe this team this season can go?
I think sky's the limit for us, honestly. We're just tapping the surface of our potential, and coming off these two wins, it's easy to see that. But you know, we're growing and we're learning each and every day, and about each other and about what this team can do. So I wouldn't count us out of any conversation just quite yet. So yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And the thing with Binghamton University when we look at men's and women's basketball is it's been a process, and it's been different coaches over time and student athletes coming in and out and trying to find a workable kind of system, find the right people, have the right leadership. Do you feel like because you've experienced different leadership, you've experienced different student athletes that are your teammates and whatnot, are you getting a sense of, like you said, you love what you're building, but are you getting a sense that things are different in a good way now? Like, is there a different essence to the team, maybe a different feel to the culture? Is there anything that's tangible to you?
I think that, you know, we've all kind of got to a place here that we're no longer looking into the past and kind of, you know, looking where we're at now. And I think early on it was a conversation had with all of us that we wanted to, you know, put Binghamton on the map right from the get-go of the season. And I think that that's what we're working towards now. And, you know, culture's been huge for us too. And it's showing, obviously, the chemistry on the court and just how we're working together. So I think that moving forward, that's the first and foremost goal, is to, you know, build something special here at Binghamton and to show other teams why we're a force to be reckoned with.
And it's funny because I can hear it because, and you and I have talked about this before, I love Canada and I'm a big Toronto Raptors fan, but you can hear the subtleties from Timmins, Ontario, Canada come out, especially when the word about, because there's about and about. And so you can hear it. Does it still kind of come through? And when you're talking to your teammates, do they still hear it? I know we've talked about, can they pick it up at any time? So do they not hear it anymore, or does that?
Oh no, they definitely do. Even when I first got here, it was really bad, and to all my American friends, I sound Canadian. To my Canadian friends, I sound American. So it's like it definitely comes out like about all the time for sure. You know, certain words like the Canadian will definitely peek through, and my teammates beat me up for it here and there, but. Yeah, so it's funny that you can hear that because I'm told by everybody that I sound different. So, but it's all good.
Well, and I make mention of Canada because I would be remiss if I didn't say this. Something that I've learned over my time as a broadcaster, that in the sport of basketball, it's obviously not just a hockey country. And in men's and women's basketball, there is talent. There is talent to recruit. So you're, like you said, putting Binghamton on the map. You're also putting Timmins on the map. What does it mean to you to represent Timmins, to represent Ontario, the province, and Canada as a whole, and show that there is basketball talent up there? Because I know that, but I think the world still needs to catch on about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're starting to make our way into, the global conversation of basketball, starting to show our presence a little more in the Olympics and the world champions and stuff like that. Um, I think we have a lot to go still, but yeah, we're definitely making our way into the conversation. And for me personally, I always find it exciting to hear somebody know that I'm from Canada to say, "Oh, that's cool, you're from Canada," and especially from Timmins. Definitely not a well-known place at all. So to be able to say that I'm from there and one of the only Division One athletes to come out of Timmins is also exciting. And then I always like to go back. I used to have this coach that would say, "Why not a kid from Timmins?" So
Yeah.
shout out to him. But it's always kind of exciting to build that story and to represent any way I can.
Who was the coach that said, "Why not a kid from Timmins"?
Name was Chris Summer. He moved away when I was younger, but I'll never forget that little quote. And anywhere I go, I bring it with me. So
And for those that don't know, because a lot of people know Ontario, but where is Timmins?
Timmins is about 8 hours north of Toronto. So I might be close to home or Canada in Binghamton, but home is a ways away from me.
Yes. I mean, obviously there's flights to Toronto. So how are you getting, like you said, 8 hours north? So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
are we getting to Timmins? Like if you want to go home and, in the summer, I'm going to go home for a couple weeks. What does that travel look like? How do you get back home?
So I try not to drive just because it's a little bit far. Usually I would kind of drive to Toronto from here, so 5-ish hours to Toronto. Then I would fly home, or I would take two flights out of New York somewhere and get from New York to Toronto, then Toronto to home. So it's definitely not an easy place to get to, but
But you came over to Binghamton and you obviously are within this 2024-25 season. I've gotten to see the team, and for me, this is exciting. When you're around and you've covered this team for many years like I have, when you look at Binghamton University and you know that like the potential is there and the rumblings have been there and there's been some good coaches and there's been some good student athletes and there's been these moments, but now trying to build that sustained success. What is it like to be a part of seeing these pieces fall, because you have been here, you have had time in Binghamton? So as you're seeing it this season, how exciting has it been for you and your peers, the other student athletes on the team? Like you said, you want to put Binghamton on the map, but in my opinion, I'm seeing this unfolding of like that hard work pays off, that labor over an extended period of time is going to present results. What is it like to experience that?
yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, like you said, you've been a part of it, and same here. Like I've been hurt on the sidelines watching. I've been playing, and now I'm a part of this new era of Binghamton women's basketball. So I've gotten to see kind of it all unfold and develop. And like I said before, we're just tapping the surface, which is exciting. And hopefully, I'll be a part of something great here soon. And yeah, just excited to see where the team and I can go with this.
The non-conference, because you and I talked like going into the season, when we look back at the non-conference play, you played St. Bonnie's, you played Cornell, played the University of Pittsburgh and University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. We have seen you go up against Siena, Syracuse, and I do want to let people know that 87-60 score against Syracuse, the first portion of that game in that opening quarter especially, Binghamton came to play. And there was shots that were falling, three-point opportunities, going after rebounds, creating second chances. I don't think that if people simply look at the schedule and say, okay, these were losses or this was this, a margin of victory for the opposing team against Binghamton and whatnot. I don't think you can look at your non-conference schedule and say in those six losses, like, oh yeah, these were this and this. Like, I don't think it's simply the score. I think it's, you got to break down the team. You have to look at how you played. You have to look at the positives. What did you take away from those games like St. Bonaventure and Pitt and Syracuse? because there were some good moments. And if people watched the games and truly spent some time with the film, they would see that Binghamton is doing things against the ACC and against the A10 and some other schools out there that you can kind of put in your pocket and say, yeah, we didn't win the game, but these are the things that we can build on so the next time we see them, we're going to get another step closer.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, honestly. Like the score isn't a great representation of how that those games went for us. And each of those losses is an opportunity for us to learn and grow. And I think um, as much as it sucks to have, those six losses, it prepared us for something that's coming down the road. And, now we look back at that and we're like, okay, well, we've been here before. We've dealt with this adversity and we're able to, grow and overcome it. So, yeah, definitely, I think when teams look back at those games and like you said, like rewatch the film, they're seeing that we're a team that won't give up and, we're not putting our heads down regardless of the score and who the opponent is. And we're never taking a loss or a win lightly. Each game is important to us, and each game we're treating as the biggest game of the season. So, coming down, the home stretch of conference play and stuff like that, we're definitely leaning to all of our non-conference and the experiences we've had and the teams we've played and the challenges we face because it's only gotten us to where we are now.
Here with Jadyn Weltz inside of this Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Jadyn, for you personally, what have you learned when you look at just yourself, your game? What have you taken away from the start of this season, that first moment against Pitt Johnstown to where we are right now?
For me, the biggest thing has, just trusting in my own abilities and playing with confidence. All of our team, like every player puts in a lot of hours and, we work really hard and we have to overcome some challenges ourselves. And I think the biggest thing for all of us is just, showing up and doing what we're great at. And it's emphasized by our coaching staff each and every day of, control what you can control and bring what you bring to the table and do it to the best of your ability. So I think for me, it's just been kind of figuring out how to play with confidence and do the things that I know I can do well. And then setting my teammates up so that they can be successful as well.
And, to continue with your teammates here, I mean, this is a team that had some returning faces, but also have some new faces coming in. What can you say to that? We've spoken about culture and, helping out each other, being there for each other. How has this all come together of the new as well as like yourself, the returnees?
Yeah, like I said before, we've all bought into this process and we've all bought into this common goal. And I don't think that we have a person that's not committed to this team and what we're trying to do here. So it's great to see returners and it's great to see these newcomers, really start to gel and enjoy each other, not even on the court, but off the court as well. Team bonding is huge for us and chemistry is huge for us. So we're really valuing those things and doing all that we can do so that when we do step on the court, we're ready to go and we're ready to, battle together.
And you talked about buying in the America East and being ready for this from the non-conference play. The team is 3-1 in conference play to start off. After losing the first game, which was against NJIT on the road, you beat University of Maryland, Baltimore County, better known to people as UMBC on the road, and then Maine and New Hampshire at home. So bring me into AEC play because we got a big old schedule coming up here. We've got a game coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. So a little bit different for people there, a little morning game going up against the University of Vermont. That's Bearcats Beyond the Classroom. That game's going to be at home down in the Southern Tier in Binghamton. So that's the next game that we have on the horizon. But the first four games here, to lose the first and win 3 in a row and want to keep that streak going, just what you could say about NEC play so far. I know you made mention of the weekend and beating Maine was important to you personally for the first time since you've been at Binghamton. But overall, this 3-1 start and 3-0 since losing that first game.
Yeah, I think we learned early on that America East play is it's a competition. You know, everybody's coming hungry, and it matters a little more than the non-conference, and you're getting to your best basketball of the season. So I think we learned that early on that we can't take any team lightly, and we're gonna have to show up to each and every game, and that's just been, you know, kind of the message going forward is, you know, we can't get comfortable and we can't settle at any point of any game. And that's going to particularly show this week with our schedule coming up here. But you know, we're just going to take it one step at a time and one team at a time.
Jane, y'all play all over the place when it comes to time. 11 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the week. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a little weird for sure. It will be our kids' game though, so there should be a couple thousand kids, you know, screaming and cheering in the stands. So hopefully they're cheering for us, and the momentum can be brought through the energy of that gym. But yeah, we just kind of got to play with what we're dealt, and you know, just show up with the same mindset and the same goal, regardless of the time or day or, you know, loudness of the gym. So
Jadyn Weltz here on the broadcast. Before we jump into rapid fire, I follow this on your social media. You're one of the student athletes that has taken up NIL, name, image, and likeness, and taken full advantage of it. What has your experience like been with NIL? And I'm looking at the fact that not only you, but those that you work with in the NIL world, when you got America East Player of the Week, they turn around and said, like, you know, this is our NIL partner. Like, look at what they're doing with this America East honor. So what has it been like for you to be one of the student athletes at Binghamton University that is working in the NIL space and dabbling in this new piece, this new element of collegiate athletics?
I think it's really exciting and, you know, helpful for student athletes and businesses, honestly, to be able to take advantage of this. Like you said, like they're able to use me just as much as I'm able to use them. So it's kind of it's a fun partnership to be able to have, and you know, it helps both the student athlete and the company. So I know that a lot of people in my position also have been enjoying it, and it's exciting to see where it will take, you know, athletics as a whole. But yeah, can't say anything negative about the opportunities I've been given, and am thankful for the opportunities that have come my way. But I think as a whole, it can be a great thing for student athletes.
So as far as your experience in the NIL space, what have you learned so far that you feel like you could impart to another student athlete?
I think just taking, you know, advantage of any opportunity you get is the most important thing. Doesn't matter how, you know, big or small the opportunity is. It's what you're worth, and you deserve to kind of be able to exploit your name and image. So just whatever opportunity you can get your hands on, take advantage of it to its full potential, and also influence other athletes to do the same, because we've been given this opportunity, so it's only suiting that we take advantage of it.
Coming from Jadyn Weltz here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Well, Jadyn, last time that we talked, which feels like it was an ocean ago, it feels like from probably Toronto to Timmins is how long ago it was. But we're going to play some rapid fire, which is what we've done last time as well. I'm going to defer to you to ask the first question to me for rapid fire.
Oh gosh. Best gift you've ever received or given?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Best gift I've ever received or given. Oh, man. I'm probably gonna say, and you just saw Lily, my dog, so I went and got Lily in Buffalo. So I'm not gonna say that. I mean, I'm gonna say she's a gift from God. But my parents, for Christmas years ago, got me my dog that I had before, Miss Lily, and Shady, who's up in heaven now, and Shady, a soft-coated Wheaton. It was the day before Christmas Eve, so it was Christmas Eve, and it was a snowstorm in Groton, New York, in the middle of nowhere, and we found Shady, and probably in a lot of ways we rescued her from the breeder that probably should not have had any type of a license or ability to do it. It was not good condition. And I felt bad for the people that were in that house, for the animals that were in that house. But we got Shady and we brought Shady home, and that was my Christmas gift from my parents was having Miss Shady. So I'll probably say her, because she has such a big place in my heart, and it took a really long time for me to be ready to kind of open a new piece of my heart to another dog, because obviously that piece of your heart stays with whoever it belongs to. So I would say that Shady helped me to find love for Lily, and Mordew and Cinnamon, my dogs before that, helped me to find love for Shady and Lily. So I would probably say that dogs are truly a person's best friend, and I don't know what life would be like without a dog, and I'm happy that I haven't really had to know that. My question back to you, Jadyn. Let's see here. If you could, so I'm going to stay in the NIL space. If you could create a product, if you could have any product in the world, and it would like your stamp would be on it, it would be like, the Weltz, like, this is my thing. What would be the product that you would want to create and put out there?
That is a crazy good question. Okay, I don't know how far-fetched this is, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna say like some sort of like, I don't know, contraption, I guess, that like you could bring on the bus with you, so that like when you're done your road trip, you can just like get up and feel ready to go for the game. Because I think, the older I get and the more run down I become, those bus trips and those long journeys take a toll on my body personally. And I know they do for everybody else in that bus as well. So like, I guess I don't know what sort of thing it would be, but something that would like keep you, prepared to play and prepared to feel as good as new, I guess.
Well, I can honestly say that when you create that, give it to me, because I fly on the planes a lot, and my body today, from being on planes for the last 4 or 5 weeks, my body's like, you got to get on a plane in a week. And it's like you got to like rehab your whole week just to get on the plane one more time. So
Yeah.
I get it. I definitely get it. What's your next question for me?
If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, man. Probably shrimp. because Probably shrimp, because if anyone has ever seen me, been around me in a pool, eating shrimp and swimming the way that I do for as long as I do, and just my enjoyment of it, there was this part, probably one of the nicest compliments that I've been given, and my mom would say, why this one? But my mom was talking to somebody that I was dating years and years ago, and she looked at, I don't know who said it, I think my mom said it, but she was like, they said something to my mom, and she goes, he was born in the ocean. Like, this kid is like I'm an Atlantis baby. Like, I'm just a water guy. So I would say that probably shrimp, to fit my personality in the water, and because I just love shrimp. And if you put a plate of shrimp in front of me and you don't take it away, it doesn't matter how many are on that plate. I'm probably going to eat all of the shrimp. So, and it's healthier than eating other things. So I would probably say shrimp.
Nice.
My question back to you, we're stick with food, Jadyn. What is the best food in Timmins? Like, is there a place, and is there a thing where you're just like, man, I miss that?
Honestly, no. So I'm gonna have to say like my mom's cooking, I
Okay.
guess.
What does mom
Like
make?
mom or grandma's cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not too much going on in Timmins, to be honest. And I think since I've been home, new things have opened and closed, so I can't give you a great answer other than my mom's cooking, honestly.
Is there something that your mom or grandma makes that you miss the most?
My mom makes really good Italian food, so anything of the sort, I would say. And my grandmother makes really good pumpkin cookies with cream cheese frosting. So I'm gonna say that.
Well, being Italian and being an October baby, if mom and grandma are watching and listening, please send a care package to Jadyn, and please send a care package within the care package that just says Dan. And then when I go to a game, Jadyn can hand me off that package there. That you can give me that assist. So your last question for me, Jadyn, what do you got?
Ooh. Mm, if you could invent a new sport, what would it be?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. If I could invent a new sport, what would it be? You know what I would do? I don't even know if I would make a new sport out of it, because I mean it exists, but it only exists in the Olympics, and you never see it unless you see it in the Olympics. I would want Syracuse, my hometown, to have to have bobsledding. So, because I have always wanted to, and I don't know if you saw this movie, and if you haven't, you need to, but I've always wanted to be a member of a bobsled team because of the movie Cool Runnings.
Yep.
And
Love that movie.
so, and I tell people all the time, they're like, so you want to be in like the United States? I'm like, no, I want to be on the Jamaican bobsled team. I don't want to be on the American team. I want to be on the Jamaican bobsled team. But yeah, I would love to go bobsledding, honestly, because I like thrills. People that know me know I'll go on pretty much any ride. And the thought of being on a bobsled is so different and so unique that I would want to do it. So I'd like to have like a Syracuse bobsledding track, I guess, like have it built here so that you can actually, instead of just ice skating, that I could like bobsled in the winter. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll take it. Good answer.
Thank you. My last question for you, keeping it Canadian. So my last question for you is, all right, Jadyn, let's think here. We've talked about a lot of different things. All right, Miss Weltz, I don't think I asked you this before. If you could take the life of a superhero and become that superhero that exists today in the world of everything we've seen, what superhero would you choose to be, and what city would you choose to protect?
Uh, I I think I'll go with Spider-Man. And just gonna pick Timmons. Gotta hold down the fort, I guess.
So
Yeah,
my response to that is, are there buildings in Timmins?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's some buildings.
Okay, because you
Yeah,
got to be able to swing. So,
right.
but I would say that is the correct answer, Jadyn. You actually answered correctly. Spider-Man is my favorite character of all time. So when you said Spider-Man and you kind of were like, I guess I'm going to go there, I'm like, I don't think she knows it. That's we check with the judges. That is the correct answer. So Spider-Man is right. So Spider-Man protecting Timmins, maybe in Spider-Man 4. Maybe we'll see that
Rumors
happen.
have it. Yeah.
So Jadyn Weltz here of the Binghamton University women's basketball team in this Bearcat Breakroom. Jadyn, I want to thank you for your time today, and obviously all the work that you and your student athlete teammates are doing throughout the season. Like you said, and you've continued to say, this is a team effort. And because you have all been the sum of the parts and not just individuals, we've seen success. So continue to be there for each other and continue to do what you guys are doing. It's been absolutely awesome to watch, and I look forward, because I think the best part of Binghamton season's coming up.
Agreed. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and shout out to Timmins. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you.
Take care. That coming from Jadyn Weltz one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And we have our second piece of the Bearcat Breakroom coming up right now. So we're going to jump into Carter Baer, who's going to be joining us for the Binghamton University Bearcats wrestling team. We've done a lot with wrestling here, and we've been able to go all throughout the sports programs at Binghamton University and really give you a feel. And that's the whole point of this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership is creating a level playing field for all of the sports, and win or lose, whatever the sport may be, to put them on the map, because there's a lot of sports that don't get the national and international exposure that they should have, and there's some that only get exposure when there's wins that happen, and I don't believe in that. I believe when we have these multimedia marketing partnerships, when you cover a school, you cover the entirety of it, and you cover the student athletes, the coaches, the administration, all that are a part of the greater family. And that's what I believe is truly important. And that's why we're different here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, because we believe in the sum of the parts and not just the individual. So with that being said, Carter Baer is here with us, and we're going to bring Carter in for the first time ever on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So Carter is picture in picture with us here in this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom. Carter Baer of the Binghamton Wrestling student athlete here on the team in the program for the 2024-25 season. We have spoken with the coaching staff of Binghamton Wrestling as well as some student athletes here. We're going to continue the conversation with Carter taking center stage here, and happy to have this. Binghamton Wrestling is having fun. We're having a good time here in the EIWA and everything that's coming up. And, of course, the team's been able to travel throughout the country, gone out to Vegas. So with that being said, Carter, I'm very honored of all the work that wrestling is doing here at Binghamton University, and I'm happy to have you here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Carter, I mean, for you, why Binghamton? To go back to that decision, back to the beginning, what was it about Binghamton University that just struck you a certain way and made it kind of stick out and say, hey, I think that this is going to be the right home for me?
So going back, when I was being recruited in high school, mostly my junior year, but my senior year as well, it was really unique because of the COVID-19, and there was restrictions on recruiting. So my whole recruiting experience was really was a lot different than most people's probably. I wasn't able to really visit anywhere. I was doing like virtual visits. Yeah. And the day that the restriction got lifted, Kyle at the time, Fred Garcia, coaches at Binghamton, they came to my house for a home visit, and that meant a lot to me. I felt like a real priority. So the fact that I felt like a priority, and when I went and met the team, everyone on the team was just compatible. I could tell I was immediately going to get along with everyone on the team. They're all super nice people, and on top of that, I'm really family oriented, and I definitely prefer staying in state in driving range to home. And it's just, I really just fell in love with the culture immediately and everything that the team has to offer.
And you said getting recruited during COVID times, that it was so unique, and that when things got lifted, the coaching staff came out and visited you, and that meant so much to you that they made you a priority. Just to go into that a little bit deeper, the fact that you were going through such unique times and maybe didn't even know, am I going to be recruited? How am I going to be recruited? To have the staff at Binghamton through crazy, strange, very unique and not a great way times, for them to give some normalcy to you and to go out and see you, and when they could visit, when they could come out, that they made it a point to do that. Just what that meant to you, that coaches going and seeing you and visiting you is important for any student athlete. But amidst a pandemic, when that gets lifted and they're allowed to, I would imagine to you it meant even more, because some people weren't traveling even when we were able to travel, and some people were doing minimal travel. So the fact that during a pandemic they wanted to see you, just to go into that a little bit deeper, how much that means to you.
Yeah, it meant a lot. And like I said, to compare it to the other schools, like I was being recruited, but like I'd get on Zoom and they'd show me pictures of their campus, and like that was our visit, and it was just really like not homey at all, not really personable at all. So yeah, when they came, we had dinner, we had like pizza, and we just talked. They were both really cool people. They just seemed like cool people I could like get along with, and obviously their resumes as coaches kind of speaks for itself. So I knew that was going to be all set, but it really meant a lot to me and my whole family too.
Yeah, and like you said, you wanted to stay relatively close to home. And Governor, New York, it's above Watertown and to the west. And so we're talking about less than 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes from Syracuse, from Binghamton, add on another hour. And so we're looking at, almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes about, I guess, if weather is good there. Just why you wanted to stay in state and the fact that you're, less than 3 hours away from home, just what that does for you.
Yeah, like I said, I've always had a really close family, since I can remember. Like, we do a lot of things together. My parents have done a lot for me, and especially going into college, that was always in the back of my mind a little bit. Like, it's really comforting knowing that I can get home on short notice if I have to, or like holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Like, I love spending those holidays with my family. Like, we have short Thanksgiving breaks, but it's no big deal. Like, even if I can just go and I can get a day and a half with them. Whereas opposed to some kids that have to stay here over Thanksgiving, stuff like that. Over summer, I can be home a lot. And it's really just, it means a lot to me. It's comforting to me.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, having that close family, do they get to come out and see you a lot? I mean, especially when you're down in the Binghamton area and you're wrestling and whatnot, are they able to come and see you?
Yeah, they don't miss much. They'll travel on a whim too. My dad was my high school wrestling coach, and he still is coaching at my high school. So I mean, he'll have a lot of stuff on the weekends, and he'll just go like from their tournament on Saturday to our duel on Sunday, wherever it is in the Northeast, and they don't really miss much. But it's definitely convenient, especially for like home duels and whatnot, that they'll be able to pretty much make everything. And I know it's really fortunate for them.
Yeah, and looking at your schedule and talking with some of your teammates as well as your head coach, Coach Kyle, I mean, looking at the schedule coming up, there's going to be more of those opportunities at home, more of those opportunities in familiar territory. So, I mean, you've been able to travel, you've been able to see a lot of different things. What did you take away from the first half of the season that had so much travel in it, and just kind of your learning experiences as you get set here to continue the second half of the season for 2024-25, which is going to have a lot of opportunities at home?
Yeah, I'd say first half of the season, there's a little more unknown in terms of like belief in myself, see like where the team's at, and I feel like now, kind of settling in individually, but also as a team. Like, I know how good we are and how good I am, and I know what's expected of myself now, more so than I did like in November. Um, yeah, I would say I'm really a lot more settled in and familiar like with my expectations as opposed to before. Everything's kind of new when a season starts and there's a little bit of unknown.
And so you said you're a little more settled in with kind of like knowing yourself and your expectations. What can you say about your abilities and kind of getting to know yourself as a student athlete and getting to know your expectations of yourself? You said that that's improved as the season's gone on. So what can you say to that now? How would you describe who you are as a wrestler, as well as, essentially what you've grown to be and what your expectations are?
Yeah, I think one thing is definitely the amount of matches, like just getting mat time.
Yeah.
That always gonna help. But I'd have to mention at Binghamton on our wrestling team, we have a Bible study group, and my faith in Jesus Christ has been like a huge thing for me, being able to put my faith in something else other than just wrestling in my training, and that's been a huge thing for me and some of the other guys on the team as well, and those two kind of get together. The more I wrestle and the more I grow my faith, the more I am comfortable and kind of just ready to wrestle, more excited to wrestle. I'd say those are the two biggest contributors.
Carter, you said something, and I appreciate it very, very much so. You just talked about your faith. And here on the show, I don't shy away from it. We talk about God here. God is the essence of everything that I want to be, everything that I try to be, and I wouldn't be where I am without God. So I can appreciate and I can respect what you said. it feels like now in my world, talking with student athletes for talking with really people in the sports world for over 20 years now, I have experienced that majority of athletes I've spoken to believe in God, and the majority of coaches I've spoken to believe in God. It seems like professionally and collegiately on a national and international scale, though, right now, there's more people that are coming out and saying it. There was a time period, Carter, in your lifetime and my lifetime in these last few years, where it almost felt like people were afraid to say God, scared to say it, kind of hiding. We've seen a shift now. Have you felt the shift? Have you seen the shift that athletes like yourself are coming out publicly and thanking God and not apologizing for it, not hiding from it, not being scared to say it?
It's definitely been a prevalent thing. Even in the wrestling world, there's been some guys, some really good wrestlers. But I mean, even this last year in college football, I think is like where a lot of people have seen it, and it's those guys are trailblazers. It takes a few people to kind of do that to give others like confidence and like kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. But that is the truth, and that is like I'd be lying if I tried saying other things that are helping me, but that really is what's helping me, and it really is. It's a great thing for me to see like all over social media. It's great. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it helps you know that you're not alone. You know,
100%.
And I love it. I mean, I've been covering the college football playoff and interviewed Quinn Ewers of Texas and Jadyn Baer of Texas, and I asked them about their faith because they were talking about God. I asked Texas coach Steve Sarkisian about it. Will Howard has talked about his faith at Ohio State. Riley Leonard, who I've known from a while back when he was getting recruited, who's now the quarterback at Notre Dame, he always says Jesus blessed, and he talks about things all the time. I mean, are we in a place right now in this country where you think that maybe we are turning more toward God finally? Do you get a sense for that?
I would definitely think so. I think athletes doing that is only going to help. It's going to help like the younger generation, even the older generation. People will notice. I mean, ultimately, that's kind of what we're called to do as Christians, and I think it's great that we're actually doing that. I definitely think there's a shift for sure.
And you said this Bible study that you have with the Binghamton wrestling team. How did it start? Who kind of came up with it, and just what you can say about it?
So every summer we actually, I don't know if this might be going on like 4 or 5 years before I got here. I think we go to, we call him. I don't think he's actually a reverend. We call him Reverend Dave, but he has a barbecue for the wrestling team, and he's a man of faith, very deep in his faith. And last year, Michael Zarif was on our team. He was our 49-pounder. 2 years ago, he started it with Dave, and like initially, I didn't come into college as a believer, and I kind of got convinced to go with some other guys, and it really has changed my life. I know, not to name drop, but like we got like Nate Lucier and Micah Rose are a couple. Coach Lou goes, and we'll meet every Tuesday night, so we'll meet tonight, and it's a great thing that we've started.
You said you didn't really come into Binghamton with a strong faith. How did your experience at Binghamton and with this Bible study and with this team, how did you grow in a faith with Jesus Christ and with God?
So in high school, I didn't really have any trouble in my competition. Like it was kind of easy. Like I won a lot. I was able to kind of put my faith in what I was doing. I was able to like let wrestling identify me.
Okay.
And then when I got to college, it's kind of like everyone's good. And I realized quick I kind of had a bit of an identity crisis. And I realized like it's not healthy for me to be up and down with my wrestling. Like if I'm wrestling good, I'm happy. If I'm not wrestling good, I'm not happy. Things like that. And I would get really, really nervous, constantly worried. I'm a worrier at heart. And I mean, I just knew there needed to be a solution, and there needed to be. So it was one of my friends encouraged me to go to the Bible study, and I thought, yeah, I'll try it. And I just knew immediately that the people running the Bible study were just, I could trust those people. Everything they were telling me was resonating with me, and it really just helped me immensely.
And Carter, like you said, I mean, you're a worrier. You're somebody who knows that about yourself, wants to correct that, wants to, obviously move forward, be positive, be confident. I can I can be with you on that. I'm somebody that grew up worrying was easy, being paranoid, being stressed out, second guessing, and I've worked through my life to get to the other side of that, right? Get away from that and to get rid of those habits and to put better habits in those places of confidence, of peace, of calmness. I found it through God, and so I can appreciate your journey, and I continue to work every day because I'm never going to be perfect at it. Some people say God is a crutch. Usually God is a crutch. You tried everything else, you go to God. And I want to really make clear that that's not what you're saying, and that's not what I'm saying. Why do you believe God is not a resource but the resource?
I think Scripture kind of describes it best, in the sense that every single human is imperfect, and we all sin, and we're not good in our hearts, and we can't do good on our own. We need God to kind of help us do good. I think that's a simple way of putting it. I know in the gospel it says doctors don't heal people that are healthy, they heal people that are sick. And that kind of alludes to us. We're all sick. We all need healing. And it's kind of, I think, how it is.
Man, I love this conversation. Love it here today with Carter Baer. And Carter here, Binghamton Wrestling, student athlete for the Bearcats, 2024-25 season. I'm going to read off some historic things for you as a student athlete. There's a lot. And I want to give a special thanks to Nick Landy for all the work that he does here at Binghamton University behind the scenes. You've won 33 matches in 3 seasons at Binghamton, and you've won 9 this season. So the 33 that you have in 3 seasons, almost a third of that coming from this season alone. You've recorded 2 technical falls, 2 major decisions this season. Defeated number 27 Kyle Mosher of Hofstra 5-2, which was recently here just a few days ago, and for your first win against a ranked wrestler. I'm going to stop there. So 33 match wins in 3 seasons, 9 this season. We have 2 technical falls, 2 major decisions this season, and you defeated your first ranked opponent just a few days ago. When I say all that, what can you say to your history at Binghamton and getting that ranked win, which, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd say freshman year was obviously a bit of an adjustment. I think I was a good wrestler. I was wrestling well, but still it was a lot of adjusting. It was a lot of adjusting to Division I college wrestling for me. And last year I was at 157, was not the ideal weight for me. I had to cut a lot of weight. This year I feel like things are definitely kind of coming together more. I feel good at 165. The weight cut doesn't feel that bad, and I'm really having a lot more fun this year. Having a lot more fun competing. Historically, especially I would say the last couple years, I like the day-to-day, which is, I'd say, kind of rare. I like practice every day. Practice is fun to me.
Yeah.
And then competition would come, and I'd kind of get really nervous. I wouldn't dread it, I would say, but there'd definitely be a little not looking forward to competition at times. Whereas this year, I'm really looking forward to competition a lot more. I love competing. I like just everything about it. I like being a little anxious, but putting on a show, and it's just a lot more fun this year.
What's been the difference between prior seasons and this season? Like you said, it's different this year. You're enjoying competition more. You've trended toward the positive, and you're more energetic about it, upbeat about it, excited about it, as you were describing this more positive mindset. Where did that mindset come from this season?
I think a lot of it's maturity. Something that I couldn't really rush, just kind of had to happen in due time. And I would also give credit to a lot of my teammates. I see guys, even obviously Brevin's taking out guys, scoring lots of points. Ivan's had some ranked wins recently, taking out guys, and those guys motivate me. I see how much fun they're having. I see how they're scoring points. They're getting takedowns on the best guys, and it really motivates me to do so as well. We do the same thing every day. So I kind of think, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to do this either. And it's just a lot more fun. That's probably one of the biggest things in my mindset shift. I'd say is like just motivation for my team, really.
That coming here from Carter Baer of Binghamton University, Bearcats wrestling here inside of this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Great Lakes Honda City studios. As a senior, we go back to Governor High School, 41-0 as a senior. You won a state title at 160 pounds, which I can respect because I'm around 162 to 165, so I can appreciate that. So winning a state, I wouldn't be winning a state title in wrestling, but I can respect the weight class there, and the 3-time New York State champion as well. So going back to that time that you had, like you said, you like being close to home, about 3 hours away, and when you look back on your time at home, 3-time New York State champion, and of course 41-0 as a senior, just reflecting on that. And you had made mention like you were good in high school, and when you got to college, everybody's good, so you had to learn and you had an adjustment. What can you appreciate about your high school time, and how did all of that hard work in high school help to make you into the student athlete that you are?
Man, I'd say like most of my memories when I think about high school wrestling it was really fun. Like I was able to build a love for the sport in high school. I think my dad he does a really good job with high school kids in terms of just getting them in shape and kind of building a really good foundation, like solid technique that kind of you need to know to be good.
Yeah.
And I was able to trust him, and I was able to trust in my training. And when you get to the point where you're winning a lot, it's going to be really fun. So high school wrestling is pretty fun for sure.
What's your dad's first name?
Joel.
Joel. So, like you said, he was your coach. I mean, what was that dynamic like to, like you said, you trusted in your father, you trusted in the plan, but I mean, you don't leave your coach really ever, right? You leave wrestling practice and you go home to your dad, who is also your coach. So, what was that experience like for you, and what did that do to make you into the person that you are today, having the father figure also be that mentor as a coach?
Yeah, I would say we had a really good dynamic. I've seen other scenarios where fathers and sons they can't really get along in like in a sports atmosphere, but it was definitely not us. I'd say I'd view him more as a like when he was coaching, it was like my dad was teaching me how to wrestle. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, like that's coach.
Yeah.
And then we go home and we wouldn't really talk about wrestling that much. I think you have to know when to like leave things in the room and to have that like a healthy relationship. But no, he kind of knows me really well. I think he could tell when I was kind of a little nervous or if this was going on in my head and maybe I wasn't saying anything. He knew. So that was able to help us. He was able to help get what I need, get what I need. So just because of how well he knew me. So it was a pretty good dynamic.
I love that advice. Knowing how to leave something in a room and then go on to something else. People struggle with that. I've struggled with that on when to let go of a subject and kind of let go, let God, let go, take a breath, and, step away from something and then, revisit it. So I think that that's huge that you and your father learned that, and I think that that's great advice. Is there any other advice that you could take away from your family, be it your dad or anybody, beyond the advice of know when to let go of something, set it down, and come back to it later? Is there other advice that kind of sticks with you?
Yeah, for sure. My dad's he's engraved a lot of his kind of like values into me, that I think are pretty positive. He's an early guy. He's always early, like 30 minutes. And I do this. I'm always early to practice. I get here early. I'll take that with me forever. Stuff like just like cleaning up after yourself, like kind of like good fundamental like characteristics like that. And but I would say like between my mom and my dad, they'll bend over backwards for our family, and that kind of means a lot to me. I've seen them do it. For me, I have a brother and sister. They don't really miss anything. They'll always be there, and I'll take that with me, and that's definitely a good lesson I've learned from them.
So being present, being early, and, obviously, like you said, cleaning up after yourself, being responsible. Sounds like a lot of good lessons from your parents. With that being said, Carter and I are going to play some rapid fire. We can ask each other any question. No pressure. We're on video and audio to the world, Carter, just so you know and I know. But you can ask me anything. I'm going to defer to you first. So you can ask me a question, and then I'll ask you something.
All right. I don't really know a ton about you, but I've viewed your social. Um, what's your position in terms of like NFL football, college football? Like, do you just like travel everywhere, like interview people, like?
Yeah. So I mean, I've had the opportunity and the blessing. I'm an accredited member of the NFL. And so I've spent time with the Jaguars, with the Dolphins, with the Bills, with the Jets, with the Bucks. I've covered, all 32 teams on the show. So, I mean, the NFL is something that kind of has just been with me for a really long time, really since the beginning of my career. And definitely since 2008 when I started on ESPN radio out in Scranton, PA. So, I mean, yeah, the coverage of the NFL is really the whole league, and college football, I mean, it's coast to coast, north to south. I mean, we have in the past month, and this is by the grace of God, it's a blessing. God has put me around good people. He has helped people see my work. He has helped me to put me around people that have given me a chance. So the college football playoff, I mean, I've been to every round. I'll be at the national championship this coming Monday. And God willing here, because I'm getting over a sinus infection, so I got to rest up. But it's truly been it's been a blessing. It's a ton of fun, and I love it. I mean, we've covered everything. We've covered wrestling and crew, bowling, volleyball, field hockey, soccer, basketball. I mean, you name it. We've baseball, softball. We've gotten after it. Swimming and diving, track and field, cross country. And I honestly can't pick one over the other. I could say that the experience of the college football playoff, and this being a historic year, first year of the 12 team, that being a part of every round has been one of the greatest honors of my life. And I was at Happy Valley with Penn State hosting SMU in the first round. I was at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which I've been at before, and loved the team there, Gary Stokin, Matt Garvey, and everybody. And so they're down in Atlanta. I was at the Holiday Bowl for the first time out in San Diego. Appreciate the group of people out there, the Redcoats, they call themselves. And I was just at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Scottie Rodgers and the crew out there do a tremendous job down in Arlington, Texas. And they'll be back in Atlanta next week. So this has really been probably one of the most unique and special and meaningful experiences in my career. And I wouldn't change it for the world, but yeah, I absolutely love it. I appreciate you checking in there and seeing some things that I do, but Carter, it's all God's work. If I do all of this for me and not for him, I'm not doing it right. So to me, it's imperative that wherever I go and whatever I do, that he's first and that I'm second. So I definitely feel like he's provided the opportunity, and I've tried to make the most of each of those opportunities.
It's awesome.
My question back to you is, do you have a favorite college and or NFL team? If you do, who are they? And have you been watching the college football playoff?
Yes, I have been watching college football playoffs. I don't really need at this point. I don't really care who wins. I guess I would root for Syracuse in college football, but I do just like watching college football. But NFL team, I'm a Cowboys fan. It's kind of brutal.
Well, I could tell you that I am a Jaguar first. I'm a Cowboys second. My Super Bowl would be Jaguars Cowboys, and so I down in Arlington, we're at AT&T Stadium. We're at Cowboys Stadium, so very much felt at home, and it was nice to be in that area. So this is not my second question. It's kind of my 1B to you. What is the first major move that you think, if you were the general manager of the Cowboys, now you need a new head coach, you need, there's probably a running back. So what are your thoughts? If you were the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, what's the first thing that you would do?
Man, Yeah, we do need a head coach. It's tough. I don't really even know. I would love to see Ashton Genty as a Cowboy. That'd be really cool. I think that he's just a Cowboys guy. Like, Cowboys they have a run. They're supposed to have a run game. They're supposed to have a good offensive line. Like that's supposed to be what they're doing, and that's what he would bring. And ideally, we could get a head coach with like good run schemes. I think that would be smart.
Well, I asked this question last night to a Cowboys fan, and he said Ashton Genty. And I asked you this question, and you said Ashton Genty. So maybe we are, putting that positive energy out there, and we're manifesting that. So Ashton Genty has been the answer here for Cowboys fans, at least on Wake Up Call. What's your second question for me?
Uh, did you go to college? If so, where and what did you do to what did you do at college to like get to where you are now, like in terms of degree and whatnot?
I went to Marywood University. Binghamton's actually my center point between my hometown of Syracuse and Marywood. It's like almost exactly an hour in between Syracuse to Scranton, which is where Marywood is. And what did I do? I mean, I did as much as I possibly could. I was a station manager, sports director. I started MU Courtside, which they're still doing to this day for men's and women's basketball. We expanded that into volleyball. I was in theater. I got to act in theater. I got to work as a technical part of theater as well. I did screenwriting. I mean, I tried to do everything that I possibly could. I don't think I left anything on the table. It would have been better. I think I could have been a better time manager. I think I could have been better at sleeping. I think I could have been better at maybe saying no to certain things and opening up opportunities to other things. And I feel like I probably could have been more prepared. But it definitely taught me how to wear a bunch of hats at the same time. And that's what I do owning my business. My business is over 12 years old. And so I would say that my degree at Marywood University definitely gave me the opportunity to, because Marywood is so open to go-getters and people that want to make something of themselves, there were avenues that were there. There were avenues that God created that weren't there. So I think leaving Marywood University, I can't say I left anything on the table. And he's in heaven now, God willing. But Jay Hammerin definitely was a massive part of my success, and Mary Beth Holmes as well. So I want to thank her. And I also want to thank Dr. Lawrence, because he stood in my way, and he was kind of a villain, and he was a teacher that taught me to not even trust the people that are supposed to have your back. So I think that I can even thank Dr. Lawrence for being such an adversary in my life and doing so many things to try and prevent me from success, that he taught me to be prepared for people to stab you in the back, be prepared for things that don't always work in your favor, and to not trust everyone, and to be able to ad lib when you think you have somebody and maybe you don't. So I can honestly say that the people that were in my corner made me a better person, and the people that tried to prevent me from being successful in my life made me a better person as well. My question back to you is, what is one thing that if you can teach anybody, like, if we talked about faith, we talked about advice that you've taken from your family, if there's something that you could give to the world, what piece of advice would you give it right now?
I mean, it's kind of, I guess you would call it beating a dead horse, but it'd have to be proclaim Jesus Christ as Lord. That is the most important thing that you can do in your life. Um, and like I said, I wouldn't be doing my job as a Christian right now if I wasn't professing this and saying this. So I really do think that that's what is most important.
I love it, and I can appreciate it. You got one more question. What is it?
What high school did you go to in Syracuse? I'm pretty familiar with the area.
I went to Christian Brothers Academy, so I got a great education, got a college education. Honestly, going to college, it felt like this. It was like the same. So, like, I mean, the CBA pushed me so hard, and I loved it because I mean, to me, I want to get an A on everything. I want to get 100 on everything. That's always been me. That's how my parents raised me. Not to be perfect, but to give your best effort. And so CBA, education-wise, is second to none. I mean, absolutely fantastic education. My question back to you, proclaiming Jesus Christ and sticking with that, some people don't understand. Some people think it's crazy to have this faith, or crazy to proclaim Jesus, or maybe that it's a cult or something like that. How do you define faith? How does it come from you to people that don't understand it and maybe aren't open to it? When you say proclaim Jesus as Lord and you talk about your faith, how do you kind of respond to someone that says it's a cult, it's not real, it's a crutch? The people that are kind of very closed off to faith, how would you respond to that?
It's something that is, it's definitely there, it's present, and I think even if you just put in the slightest bit of effort, you'll see what I mean. I think a lot of people close off their hearts because they don't want it to be true, because they want to keep living the way that they're living. And if they had to admit that this gospel is real, then they'd have to change their lives and they'd have to live for Christ, and that would be inconvenient to them. I think the ways of our world are vast, just the complete opposite of what the Bible teaches, and that it's just good versus evil, kind of. And it's very natural for people to fall into evil because that's what our world is. And unfortunately, you'll have to put in a little effort. I think you'll have to come to see it to be true. And I think people, Christians like me and others, it's our job to kind of be a light and an example of what it looks like to be a Christian. And I think if I can do that, then I can maybe help people convert. I hope, whatever God's will is. But I think people being a good example, or like you said, Quinn Ewers, the Notre Dame quarterback, I forget his name, but those, like, people like that professing it and just admitting their faith is only going to help. It's only going to help other people who don't believe. At least look into it.
Well, I can appreciate, and I definitely respect that answer and appreciate that so very much. And I thank you for your faith. I thank you for your time, Carter. I thank you for the work that you're doing. But, there's conversations that uplift you, and there's conversations kind of pick up your shoulders. And that's one of these conversations that I had today. I almost forget we're talking about wrestling. I almost forget that we're talking about, this world, because you're talking about that other world, and the one that we're really, truly a part of and aspire to get back to. So I want to thank you for making this really special for me, for reminding me of a lot of things, giving me hope and giving me more faith and a focus. I'm definitely going to blow a kiss up to God and say thank you that I had this conversation today with you. So Carter Baer, Binghamton Wrestling student-athlete inside of the 2024-25 season in this Bearcat Breakroom on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. Carter, keep your faith, stay positive, and I'm telling you right now, those worries, the more you get into your faith, the more you trust God, those will subside. Those worries will subside. That fear, that second guessing will subside. And you'll realize that fear is an instrument of the devil, and it doesn't come from God. What do they say? God is not a God of chaos, a God of peace and of hope. So thank you for this conversation. Thank you for the light that you bring to the world. And obviously I hope for success for you on and off the mat and in the classroom and whatnot. But above everything else, I think that you definitely are a tribute to so many good things in this world. So keep in you what's in you and keep sharing it. And I appreciate it I honestly can't find the words to say thank you for this conversation, but I hope I get to talk with you soon. Hope I get to meet you in person, and I hope you know how important it is, the work that you're doing with your faith.
Thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming everything. It's been great.
I come from Carter. Carter, go out there and do your work, right? Spread that faith, and then pin them down, I guess, too. So do what you got to do, man. Congratulations on the season so far. And I hope that 9 becomes 10 and that 10 becomes 11 and we keep going. And I'll talk with you soon.
I'll see ya.
Take care. That coming from Carter Baer one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. You never know where a conversation's going to go, and God always finds a way. So, thanks. Thanks, big guy. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we'll wrap things up with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli, where we were last night talking about God and faith and team and all of that with the Liverpool boys indoor track squad and their coaches. So definitely appreciate all of them for being a part of the broadcast last night at Avicolli's. Appreciate Avicolli's for the hospitality and the great food as always. And of course, we'll be bringing you from Avicolli's the ingredients to success right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Weltz Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Weltz Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Has all that you need in the sports card and trading card world, as well as all the supplies that you need to be able to house those cards and travel with them safely, as well as the different ways to display them in your household. So make sure you get out to GG Cards and Breaks today. If you have a card collection, you obviously have to protect it, get it in some of those nice cases, and put it out there, and like I said, put it on display in your home, in your office, in your den, wherever it may be. You may be looking for something for a loved one, and you could find that at GG Cards and Breaks, and you maybe want to jump into something new, right? Maybe you've never dove into the trading card game side of things. You've never played when it comes to the world of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering and Disney Lorcana, which has come on over the last couple of years, and you want to start getting into it now and learning about it. Well, not only do GG Cards and Breaks have the inventory, they have the knowledge and the wisdom. And it starts with Josh and Anthony, and it continues throughout the entire team. GG Cards and Breaks is a different experience. It feels like home. It's a place to kind of relax and have a good time, get to know different things, learn about different things, see all these different cards that maybe you didn't know about. Maybe you didn't know about one-of-ones. Maybe you didn't know about RPAs, rookie patch autos. Maybe there's a certain box that came out and you weren't familiar that, oh, they have Marvel cards that are still coming out and whatnot. So, again, like I said, the knowledge, the wisdom, the passion, the excitement, the inventory, the changes that they have throughout the week and the month of different things coming in and out. GG Cards and Breaks keeps us all a big kid. And who doesn't need to keep that kid spirit alive? That's why you go to GG Cards and Breaks. You go there today, you go there tomorrow, you go there a week from now. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. It's truly a different experience, and I love it. That's why it's easy for me to talk about them, and I truly appreciate them. They're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5, so make sure you go out and see them today and let them know. Say, DT sent me over here, and they'll appreciate it, and they'll know what you mean. So appreciate everybody at GG Cards and Breaks, and appreciate you for going over there. Back here inside of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. It's time for the ingredients to success. Proudly presented by Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. We were there last night with the Liverpool Warriors, soon to be called, I believe, the Liverpool Legends. But Liverpool boys indoor track team. Got to speak with my first ever pole vaulter. Shout out to Thomas Newen, as well as having the opportunity to speak with the throwing team with Tykeer, of course, high jump with Taj, and then when it came to distance running and whatnot, I had the opportunity to speak with Jackson, and of course, Braden and Logan joined me from the world of sprinting, as well as the coaching staff, speaking with the vertical jumper coach in Nate Howard and with the distance running coach in Andy Lewis. So I want to thank Liverpool Boys Indoor Track for joining me at Avicolli's. I want to thank you for watching and supporting. I want to thank those that came out and ate at Avicolli's last night. I want to thank the team for giving back local and to Avicolli's, and Avicolli's giving back to Liverpool. One hand shakes the other, right? And they're right down the road from Liverpool High School. It's easy to get to Avicolli's. You can literally stand at the corner
of Wetzel Road and Route 57 where Avicolli's is and look down the street and see Liverpool High School. So make sure you head out there today to Liverpool to support your student athletes and support the school and the administration and the students and the entire student body and the alumni and just the community as a whole at Liverpool. And of course, make sure you continue to support Avicolli's right there on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. It's time for the ingredients to success. Today's topic is a topic that I have never brought up, and definitely not this way. And the topic that we're going to discuss today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for the ingredients to success is the topic entitled Being Your Own Watcher. Being your own watcher, right? Looking out for, not expecting other people to be out there and have to, watch for you, so to speak, right? Taking care of yourself. And not saying like taking care of yourself and don't help anybody else and don't be there for anybody else. It's not what I'm saying. This isn't like an every man for himself conversation. This is the conversation of essentially, be your own watcher. Be the person that is paying attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're going about your life, and be responsible, right? Don't be waiting for other people to have to make sure that you're doing this and that and that they're checking up on you and keeping you honest and whatnot. Be your own watcher. Keep an own record of your words and your actions. Be the person that is going to hold you accountable. Also be the person that's going to look out for you, because you can't expect other people in the world to look out for you. You hope that they do. But you can't expect other people in the world to look out for you. You can't expect other people in the world to keep you honest. You can't expect other people in the world to keep you faithful. You can't expect other people in the world to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to be successful. You have to be your own watcher. And it's hard, right? Accountability and responsibility to someone who's not used to doing. Everyone's capable of doing it, but some people are not used to doing these things. They're not used to keeping themselves honest. They're not used to saying, okay, like if I don't have somebody telling me I got to be on time, then I don't have to be on time. If I don't have somebody telling me not to cheat, I can cheat a little bit. If I don't have somebody telling me to do this or do that, then I can kind of just do whatever I want to do. And that's a dangerous, slippery slope to be on. Because the reality of it all is, we may not have, our grandparents might be there for us and give us great advice and they pass away, or our parents pass away, or somebody moves away. We don't talk to them as much, or, we're not friends with this person anymore. We're not dating this person anymore. We're not married to this person anymore. So maybe that person or people help to keep you honest, help to keep you focused, help to kind of watch and be a check and balance for you. But now you don't have that person there. And so if you realize this about life, people are going to come and go. Things are going to happen. Things aren't going to happen. Some things go your way. Some things don't go your way. And if you put your happiness on all of the outside things, then there's really no guarantee that that is going to be sustained. The way to be consistent in your life and the way to take care of yourself and handle what you need to handle and really not be shaken as much as maybe you could be in other instances is to be your own check and balance. Be your own watcher. If you put everything into materials and those materials go away, well, now you're sad, you're depressed, you're suicidal, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're all these negative things, right? And what if that person breaks up with you? Then you're all those negative things. What if somebody passes away who you relied on to be positive for you? People can help you. Animals can help you. Things can help you to grow in your faith. Like Carter helped me to grow in my faith today. He helped to remind me of things. He gave me that positive energy and that good energy. Little does he know he's helping to heal me by having this conversation today. And that meant a lot to me. But if I relied on Carter, let's say like I had to talk to Carter every single day to make me feel good about myself, that's not healthy.
right? You got to talk to your mom every single day, make you feel good about yourself. Got to hang out with your boyfriend every day, and he's got to tell you that you're pretty every day. If you don't tell you that you're pretty every day, then you're ugly. That's not healthy. Your happiness has to come from within, and it has to be rooted in something that is real. And to go back to my conversation with Carter, when you root your life in God, when you root your life in faith in God, God is consistent. People are inconsistent. Things are inconsistent. Places are inconsistent. There's the inconsistency, right? You might have a favorite TV show, but you didn't like that episode, right? It's inconsistent. God is consistent. God is the same every day. And that consistency is something to build upon and to say, okay, if I emulate God, I can build consistency. I can build faith. I could build positivity. I could build prosperity. I could build a good culture for myself, and I can know kind of how to talk to myself. When you parallel God, you're paralleling all of these good values. When you parallel people, some have good values, some don't. When you parallel material things, like, okay, well, I'm only going to be happy if I have X amount of money. Well, I mean, listen, money comes and goes. So God is the thing that doesn't go. You know, girlfriends, boyfriends come and go. Husbands, wives, unfortunately, sometimes come and go. Jobs come and go. Money comes and goes. Materials come and go. Vacations come and go. But God is consistent. God does not come and go. God is here. And when you wake up in the morning, God's here. And when you go to sleep at night, God's here. And in between, God's here. It's us that don't show up. So when you determine that you want to take care of yourself and you want to be healthy, you have to be your own watcher. Watch your weight. Watch your exercise. Watch the food. You know, you're the one that has to do that, because there's going to be opportunities where you're by yourself and you tell everybody you eat good, but when you're by yourself, you get all that fast food and you grab it and you hide it in your car, and then you drive up and you throw it in a public trash can, and you go home and you spray your car so nobody, you know, it's like you're doing drugs, right? Because you had a burger from this fast food place. You don't want anybody to know. There's going to be time where you're by yourself. And if you don't watch yourself and you don't take care of yourself, my mom can tell me to sleep, but I have to sleep. My dad can tell me to eat right, but I got to eat right. So, you know, when we look at our lives and we say, well, this isn't where I want it to be, and this isn't this, and this isn't that, and we put it on things. Well, you know, I'd be happy if I had a wife. I'd be happy if I had kids. I'd be happy if I had a boyfriend. I'd be happy if I got that job. I'd be happy if I lived here. I'd be happy if I was warm. I'd be happy if I had more money. I'd be happy if I had more things in my house. I'd be happy if I had a better car. There's a song about this where this woman sings about, she gets all these things, like, I'm going to be happy when I have that nice car, but now I'm looking at it in the driveway and I don't want to take it out because I don't want to scratch the paint. And I thought I'd be happy when I fell in love, but I fell in love and there was still a hole. And this whole song is about, I thought I'd be happy when I had all this stuff, but what I realized is, if I'm happy within, you know, once you learn to grow right where you're planted, then life starts getting good. And so, you know, to me, I just came up with this topic today of being your own watcher, that if you want to be on time, well, you have to watch your time. If you want to eat right, well, you have to watch what you're getting in the grocery store, what you're ordering, what you're preparing at home. If you want to be a better husband, be a better wife, be a better boyfriend, be a better girlfriend, you have to watch the habits where you're not a better one, you know, and you can fall back into a habit easily. And I mean, habits take 3 weeks to create, good or bad, but it could take a second to let go of, right? I can walk for 365 days, but if on day 366 I don't want to do it, now all of a sudden it's day 427 and I'm still not walking. So, you know, consistency of effort has to be there. And that's the thing, is you can't be lazy. I'm not saying don't rest. I'm not saying don't relax. I'm not saying don't take a nap. I'm saying if you want to get the most out of your life, you have to be the one that's watching out for your best interest. you can't expect other people to look out for your best interest, because some people will and some people won't. Not everyone is going to be looking out for you. And you need to know that. You genuinely need to know that not everybody's going to be looking out for you. And once you know that and you understand that, you're not going to be sitting here getting all bitter and angry if somebody lets you down, because it's going to happen. People are going to let you down. Things aren't always going to work out in the way that you want them to work out, and things aren't always going to be easy. But when you say, okay, I know the things that I expect from myself, I know the things I want from myself. If I want to get healthy, I can't just take the antibiotics and not sleep, right? I can't just, eat soup and not take the antibiotics. I can't be out here drinking beer and soda and all this stuff and not drinking my water. So there's all these things that go into it. Say, Doc, I took the antibiotics, I'm not healthy. Well, did you sleep? No. Did you drink water? No. Did you exercise? No. So you just thought you were going to pop a pill and that was going to fix everything. But our society thinks that. We have a microwave society that has an expectation of, if I go and visit the doctor on Monday, I should be healthy by Tuesday. And that's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If you're sick, it took you time to get sick. It's going to take you time to get unsick, right? To get healthy. So the topic of today, inside of the ingredients to success of being your own watcher, is essentially asking you to pay attention to what you're consuming, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're eating, what you're drinking, who you're talking to, how much sleep you're getting, how much exercise you're getting. How many times have you been to a place for like therapy, and they say when you go home, physical therapy, mental, whatever it may be, they say when you go home, I want you to do this exercise, right? Whether it's a breathing exercise or stretching your legs, or it's an exercise of how you talk to yourself, or it's meditation or prayer or whatever. How many times do we do it there? When we go home, we don't do it. And then we go back to PT and we say we don't feel better. We go back to occupational therapy, go back to, therapy, emotional, whatever. And we say, well, we don't feel better. And what do they say? Well, did you do the stuff at home? And you say, no. Or a lot of us lie. I kind of did some of it. And I'm a culprit of that. I did some of it. I didn't do some of it. I did none of it. So if you want to get better and you're doing leg exercises at PT and they say go home for the next 3 days, do these leg exercises, well, you better do them for the next time you see them, because that's how you get better, right? You have to be your own watcher. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to, right? Because maybe you're blessed to have somebody that holds you accountable in your life, but there might be a day where they're not there, where you can't get a hold of them. And there might be the day that they pass away and they're up in heaven and they're right there with you, but they're, they're not calling you up on the phone saying, hey, you need to get up, you need to take a shower, you need to get yourself ready for work, you need to do this and that. So you have to be your own watcher. You have to hold yourself accountable if you want to have a successful, sustainable life where you're not just having success at times and good moments, but you're sustaining over a long period of time your life, a culture of positive actions, creating positive results. So be positive and stay blessed. Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli, 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. Head out there 7 days a week. Let them know that DT sent you. That pizza looks so good, and I am so hungry right now. Head out to Avicolli's today. With that being said, I want to thank you for being a part of the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. Of course, you can also find us
on all these beautiful avenues: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you will find me in all of these wonderful places. Make sure that you subscribe and you stay connected to us on all of these avenues. It's free to subscribe and to follow, so make sure you do that today. Big thanks to the Brooklyn Pickle down in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Much appreciation to all the work that they do in Southern Pines, North Carolina, on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, for the Brooklyn Pickle, right down the road from the well-known Pinehurst Golf Courses. And a big time thanks to our incredible team of partners in Central and Upstate New York: Carvel DeWitt, Great Lakes Honda City, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Servomation, reinventing, reimagining, and reinvigorating the world of vending. I never knew that vending could be this good with this much quality and this many options, and the technology part of it just being absolutely things that I didn't even think you could do. Servomation brings it all together. You could find out more at how Servomation can be a part of your business, of your school, of wherever you need vending, your rest stops and whatnot, by going to servomation.com. So make sure that you do that today. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the snack capital of the world, Avicolli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with your Dolphins. Find them on Wednesdays during Dolphin time. That is on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time weekly with your Dolphins, student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni, all here on Wake Up Call. You could go to youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. Click subscribe, as well as hit the notification bell and find our Lemoyne playlist on our YouTube channel. You can also find the Dolphins by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, as well as underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, and you know it and I know it, but let's say it together. Fins up. The Bryan and Stratton College of Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find your Bobcats every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, student athletes, coaches, and administration with the Bobcats. Very happy for Brooke Parro, who is the new athletics director, and for men's basketball head coach Clay Gagan-Sherman, who adds assistant athletic director duties to his titles at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. You can find our stories with the Bobcats in the Bobcat Buzz on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesday, like today at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We had a double dose of the Bearcat Breakroom today. Jadyn Weltz of the Binghamton University Bearcats women's basketball team and Carter Baer of the Binghamton University Bearcats wrestling team. You'll find all of our content with student athletes, coaches, and administration on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist on our YouTube channel. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics for the day. I want to thank Scottie Rodgers of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, their VP of Communications, for all the work that him and his staff have done. Wish him a happy birthday, a congratulations on being a part of the College Sports Communicators Hall of Fame for 2025, as well as winning the Trailblazer Award.
many blessings. I hopefully continue for Scottie Rodgers and your team, and much appreciation and thanks to you all. To Jadyn Weltz and Carter Baer of Binghamton University in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Binghamton University Bearcats. Thanks to Jadyn, who hails from the wonderful Ontario, Canada in Timmins. And of course, thanks to the work and the tireless effort and the faith of Carter Baer, who hails from Governor, New York. And many thanks to the Ingredients to Success from Avicolli's. Thanks to Avicolli's for hosting us last night for Liverpool Boys Indoor Track. And every month is our exclusive home for our Liverpool athletic broadcasts. And of course, today for the topic being your own watcher here on the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli's. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Please be safe, be good to each other, and God bless, no stress, do your best. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, this is Wake Up Call.